Hello, guys. Those of you not knowing me, my name is Ishani Trivedi, and my talk is about coding with a friend, building a code assistant programmer. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how I built a code assistant programmer using OpenAI, uh, Node.js, and how it helped me debug my ROR program or help me write my ROR program. So let's start. Meet our hero. His name is Frodo Baggins. He's a cute little hobbit living in his shire. Every day, his life consists of the same thing: chilling with his friends, eating a lot of food, and that's it. Suddenly, one day, this guy comes, gives him a very cursed ring to throw it in a very large volcano, which was very far away. Okay. Now, this is a situation many of us would have also faced. We also come across various clients like these who ask us to deploy very complicated codes at a very tight deadline. That's how uh, this journey is going to be about. Okay, so let's reiterate. This guy has this ring. When he starts his journey, or when we start our journey, we have a lot of people with us, a huge team. But along the way, we find ourselves lonely sometimes, coding alone. But this guy always has this guy. His name is Samwise Gamgee, and he's the most loyal friend of Frodo. For us developers, wouldn't it be nice that we also have a Samwise Gamgee with us? How about we build our own Samwise Gamgee? So this is the agenda. I'll explain how we can build our own Samwise Gamgee. First, what is an OpenAI? So what is OpenAI? Sorry. Uh, is there anyone who hasn't heard the word OpenAI? No, right? Everyone has come across this because it's the new hype, it's the new thing on trend. Uh, what OpenAI basically is artificial intelligence. OpenAI help us to connect with the artificial intelligence. It builds the code which is human readable, human like texts, and we can interact with the internet with the data set that is trained through multiple methods and large data sets. OpenAI has trained models which we can use for our daily ease of life. So one of the things that OpenAI provides are their API. And these APIs consist of three things, mainly GPT, embedding, and tokens. So what is a GPT? GPT is generated pre-trained transformers. Now, generative means it generates the human-like text. Pre-trained is basically it's trained through large data sets to provide accurate results. And transformers is basically a language or a algorithm that it works on. Second part is the embedding. Embedding means converting the words or phrases into a model, which into a numerical digit, which the system understands or the OpenAI understands. And third thing is the tokens. Tokens are actually the words that we use as a prompt. So let's, for example, if the statement is "How are you?" So "how," "are," and "you" are the three words which will be considered as three tokens. Okay, that's the basic about OpenAI. Next is the GPT models. Now, GPT models have been trained and become more and more accurate throughout the years. And these are the from like 2020 to 2023. These are the models. The new models like GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 Turbo are the most accurate models. They provide more accurate data. This is the chat completion API that we are going to use. This is the simple request for it. As you can see, there is the model. We are using chat 3.5 Turbo. The message is the actually the context in which we want our response to be like. So role is in a chat we have the recipient and the sender. So the role defines system or user. System meaning the generated messages or the messages that OpenAI sends, and the user is our prompt or whatever the user wants to ask. So as much as context you want to ask for GPT, we have to send the messages in this format in roles and user and assistant or any roles you want to add. Okay. This is how the API response look like. It has choices in which we have all these things. The messages in the message we have content, the actual content that we see when we type in chat GPT and the content that appears on the screen. Then there is all the other things that we can use. There is model, there's object, there is this completion token which says how many tokens have been used uh, during this API and how many total tokens are there. So this is pretty much the response body. Now, the second part is how do I know what am I typing in my code? So let's suppose I have my ROR code and I'm typing, and in between I am confused like, okay, how do I do this? So my simple solution was to add a comment and ask in the comment, let's say that I want to know something and I can ask that to ChatGPT. So while building this, I like the first step was to detect that I'm writing in a file and to detect what all changes or what all comments that I'm writing in that file. For that, uh, I've used a Meet Chokidar, not this actually, this one. It's a Node.js library and it's for cross-platform like file watching system. Now, those of you who are working in JavaScript or Node.js know that there is already a fs.watch or fs.watch file for that, but why not use it? So there are a few points, if you can guys can read it, there are a few points which it lags or it has a limitation for example, it doesn't work efficiently on Mac OS, and the CPU utilization is also high. That's why this Chokidar library is good to use. Now, in this library, there are multiple listeners which detect changes or in whatever events that we want. For example, there is an on add or on change or on unlink for a particular path of a file. So whatever changes that we made in that path of the file, it will be detected. What we right now need is this on change feature, which will detect any changes that happens to a file. Okay, so let's build our Samwise Gamgee. While designing this, there are a few steps. First step is to define path for the code reader to read the files. This is how I did it. We mentioned the directory, we mentioned whatever files that we want. Now, if you're not familiar with Ruby on Rails programming, Ruby on Rails is MVC structure. So model view controllers are the main part of it. And the most logic part goes in models and controllers. So I want to detect whatever changes I am making in the models and controllers. That's why I've defined models and controllers as my path. So any changes that I make in any controllers or models could be detected. Second step is to configure the Chokidar. That I have done by this. It's very simple. We just have to give the path. Uh, Again, there is a ignore thing where we can define whatever files that we don't want, let's say dot files or .env files that we might have. And then it provides a lot of other options, mainly persistent true for persistently reading that files. Okay. Now the third step is to define function that detect that changes in that file. So as I already mentioned before, we use the on change function of the Chokidar to do that. So in that function, First, we read the file. We get the content of the file. Next, I am picking up whatever text I get after I am adding the comment question mark. So hash question mark is the prompt for me. So whatever changes happens after hash question mark should be considered as the question. That's what this does. And it checks the if the text is there and if the changes occur in that file, and it'll log it. Now, step 4 is configuring the OpenAI APIs. This is the easiest thing that we have is the Node.js library that OpenAI provides. We just have to pass the API key, which will be provided when you create an account. This is the OpenAI chat completion request. If you see the first line, this is the end statement. So if you've used ChatGPT, we know that it also provides the context of what the reply is and explanation of the code, but we don't really need it. We just need the code part of it. So we can add it to give brief results. And I have added it that whatever your code is, just provide the code, don't provide the explanations. And whatever question the prompt gets would be asked as a role and with the end statement. And whatever answer it happens, if you remember, it was in choices, the content, it would be pasted back. This is the function, and now we call that function in our match function, where we see this answer. If we get any answer from the chat repeating model or the OpenAI chat completion, we modify that file. We modify that file and we answer back in this format. Okay, and this is the right file sync. We add it in the path and just, yeah, that's it. That's how easy it is to build a code reader. Okay, now let's see if this works or not. For context, this is my controller. These are the models. Is it visible to everyone? Yep. So let's think of an example. Let's say in user model, I want a validation where a user has to have an email and an email has to have a regex of a proper regex. But I don't know how to do it. Let's ask our programmer. Can I need to? Let's see what happens if I save this thing. Let's go to the code. If you can see, there is a change detected, then there is an answer, and then again there is a change detected. Is this visible to all? Okay. Let's see what happened in our actual code. So this is what happened. It gave me a result that this is the line. The answer is the prompt that I gave in the file, and it says validate email presence true. If I like that answer, I can just paste it down there and delete this. This is, I think, correct. This is how we validate the presence and rejects of email. And if we look at the log, we see that it detected the change, how to add validation, then it called the OpenAI, it gave back the result and it added to the file. It also detected the change again. Let's see one more example for controller. Let's see what happens if I ask this. It again detected a change. It asked the OpenAI for the answer, and it gave product dot last five, and it should be here on the code. Yeah, so it gave the result twice because it read it twice. So this is pretty much how we can do it, and that's it. I think our SAM is working. For next few steps, I will talk about training your SAM. So if you're familiar with it, AI needs to be trained in order to work more accurately. These are the few things that we require or that is required to train your SAM or you train your programmer. It is required that it has more natural and language understanding, more real-time collaboration, customization or personalization. If you want to look and feel in a certain way, we can do it, and advanced code synthesis. This are our SAM skill. It helps us in reading and understanding the code. It helps in increase productivity because we obviously save some time instead of googling something. It directly adds to a code. We can keep it or not. It's our thing. Third is the error detection. We can easily detect any error. Next is learning new technologies. So it is very important when you learn a new technology, we might not have the bandwidth to understand everything. So while working on new technologies, this could be very helpful. Rapid prototyping, creating POCs on the go very easily, very swiftly. Customizing and integrating various APIs or our product is also would be easier with it. That's it. This is SAM skill. It can't carry it for you, but it can carry you. Along with the advantages, there are a few challenges. This is basically the list of the challenges that it has. Mostly handling large or complex code. Sometimes the context gets out of the way. We don't get the accurate result because we don't provide the accurate context. There are implications on ethical and bias issues and some legal and intellectual property issues due to the lack of guidelines. But once I think guidelines would be set for using proper AI materials, we will be overcoming this limitation soon. Now, if you've heard about this is already there. GitHub has worked on creating GitHub Copilot that does exactly the same thing. There is also a black box AI, which is integrated in Visual Studio, which we can use it. But my thing is, if we can build it on our own, why use it? Let's just build it. And now talking about Sam's future adventures, these are the we can build it to integrate it to development environments like IDEs, use it for testing and debugging, support for multiple languages and frameworks. Right now, I'm using it just for Rails. So I've given the prompt to just give the Rails input, but we can make it more advanced and add multiple language support. Next is education and learning. It could be very helpful if we use it in those fields. Next is voice interfaces. It's also a good thing if we can integrate it. And next is the cross-domain application. Well, that's pretty much it. So that's it. That's my code. I like to mention that I've used Chokidar, I've used OpenAI, and this idea was built from GitHub Copilot and the black box AI that I've used. So together, let's just explore the new world of AI and keep on programming. That's it.